real estate projects, A. B, was it about relaxing sanctions on that bank or the financial sector? That's B. C would be a back channel to Putin, or D, all of the above. And all of the above is also pretty problematic as well.
Well, all of the above is very bad.
Any of the above is a problem.
Any of the above is above. The meeting is a serious problem.
Yeah.
So, Mark Halperin, where does all of this put us? I mean, yes, there's going to be people are going to be screeching about Paris for a day. That's the reason why. I mean, Trump set this up.
Yeah, it's a good
on
distraction.
Purpose. He's, I'm going to talk tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Then he
Let me
gets
get a band.
And then he goes in and he blabbers about things that aren't true. And then the ideological world is distracted and everybody's hyperbolic for 15 minutes. And now we're back to Russia.
There's no doubt as the White House tries to get its footing back, they are looking for opportunities to get Russia out of the news. There's no doubt that they feel it's a good day when they can do that. There aren't as many things they can do as big as they did yesterday. The congressional investigations will go forward, and we'll see when Comey testifies. That will be a big moment, as we said before. But it is the independent counsel, like every president who's faced this kind of thing, that is the relatively quiet. We're only seeing a sliver of what he's doing, and these leaks, which the White House complains about. But why do we even know about that meeting? You know, we know about that meeting because someone wanted it out in the
somebody in the White House,
someone in the White House, someone in the FBI, whoever it is.
Yeah.
There's no doubt there is more we don't even know about. Not just the explanation of this meeting, but how the meeting get set up.
Well, and you know, Mika, there's all this talk about leaks from the CIA, leaks from the FBI. When it comes to Jared Kushner, the leaks are all coming from inside the White House. Right. The leaks are, I mean, 6 people leaked a couple days ago. Steve Bannon was running around from, according to my sources, bragging to journalists a month and a half ago that he didn't have to worry about Kushner and he was going to sideline Kushner because of Russia. That he had information on the Russian investigation and that he was going to sideline Jared Kushner. 2 days after I heard this, 2 days, front page New York Times story about the links between Kushner and Russia.
Right.
A coincidence? Absolutely not. Steve Bannon has been leaking, I believe, based on everything that I've heard, has been leaking these stories. People very close to Steve Bannon were telling me before the stories were leaked that he was going to be leaking these stories.
He likes his job and wants to keep it, and will do what's necessary to do that.
We have bad forces competing with each other inside the White House, one could argue. Mike Barnicle, I'm reading from the New York Times front page, the analysis on the president's address, and it's stunning when you really think about it, and it does play into the potential that this is a massive distraction. We led with Russia today because that's a bigger story. You're going to need a shinier penny from the White House to get us to get off that story. Here's how they describe it. The president's address, a mix of dry statistics and emotive language, was designed to discredit the pact point by point. And several of Mr. Trump's claims either relied on dubious data or distorted research reports. Mr. Trump's argument started with a faulty premise that emissions reductions under the Paris Agreement are compulsory, even though at one point he acknowledged they were voluntary. The man makes no sense. And it almost appears, one could argue, that he's doing destruction to America standing on the international stage just to distract, just to sort of move the chaos in another direction.
Sure, and you can make a case even more strongly about that with the state craft yesterday. You had the Vice President of the United States out there glowingly talking about the President of the United States, who came out of the Oval Office at the conclusion of Vice President Pence's remarks like on stage at a Broadway show. At the conclusion of the remarks, you had Scott Pruitt standing there glowingly talking about the President's courage as the President stood next to him. All of this clearly an attempt to get us off of the Russia thing, except in the immortal, to paraphrase the immortal words of Joe Louis, you know, you can run, but you can't hide. Russia is a self-inflicted wound on this administration. And by the way, we haven't even gotten to the Attorney General of the United States' role in Russia, with his meetings with Russians, with the Russian ambassador that he conveniently forgot to mention to the United States Senate under oath.
Yep, for sure. Mike Barnicle, thank you.